Good morning. My name is Cindy, and I'm going to show you how to make hearty sausage stew. This is very, very easy. You just have to cut up a few things. So I'm gonna start out by showing you how to cut those things up, and then they all go in your crock pot. I've got my bowl of my crock pot right here off to the side. And here is my knife. So we're going to start with the peppers. We have two large, it says yellow, red, or orange peppers. So you can have two of the same color, two of the different colors, whatever you want, whatever you have. They tend to be a little more expensive than the green ones, but they're sweeter. The red ones are actually green ones that have ripened all the way. The yellow ones and the orange ones are a little bit different. Now notice I cut the top and I cut the bottom of this pepper, and now I'm going to cut down the side right next to one of what these are called ribs, where they connect on the inside. And I'm going to kind of unroll my pepper, cutting at the ribs as I unroll it, and hopefully you can see that. And get that center part out that has all the seeds and stuff in it. So now I've got like an unrolled piece of pepper, and I don't need the rest of this. This is all going to be what we call a coarse chop. In other words, it's going to be pretty big pieces, not very small pieces. The meat is big to start with, and so whenever you put things together, you want them about the same size so they cook at about the same time. Understanding vegetables cook a little bit differently than a meat. This particular kind of meat only has to really warm through. It's already smoked, so you could eat it, you know, raw right out of the package if you wanted to, and it wouldn't hurt you. But we're going to cook it here. So we're doing, see how big, kind of big coarse pieces, and I'm putting them into my crock pot as I go to give myself some more room. Now notice I have a plastic cutting board here. This is not my best cutting board, but I am able to put it in the dishwasher so that I know it's nice and clean. I have different boards that I use more for meat and ones for vegetables, so there's no cross-contamination of things, but this one I can put in the dishwasher, so I use it sometimes for both. They say after a period of time you really ought to get new cutting boards because they get little nicks and things in them, and they begin to cross-contaminate that way. So that's my pepper. I already have a yellow pepper in there, so now I've got a red pepper. I'm going to drain and rinse some kidney beans. Now your kidney beans can come light red or dark red. These ones were light red. They're just Kroger brand, not a big deal. You just pop the top off. I have a plastic strainer here that I'm just going to dump them in and then rinse some water over them because those will be drained and rinsed, because the kidney beans will have a little bit of water in them to start with. While those are still draining, I'm going to dump in another can of stuff. These are fire roasted tomatoes, diced tomatoes. Notice this one was a Hunt's brand. I had it in the closet, and it had some garlic in it. Sounds good to me, no problem. This one is a Kroger brand. It doesn't have the garlic in it. You're going to see some little black stuff in this particular tomato because it's fire roasted. I don't know if you can see that's a little bit black in there, and it's supposed to be that way. So that's what we're going to add to that. And then our kidney beans that I have all drained here, we're going to dump those in there. And now celery. It says to use 2 cups of celery. Now this is a glass measuring cup that's usually used for liquids, but I don't have a 2-cup dry measuring cup, and so I use this one often if I need 2 cups. I'm just going to chop my celery. Again, it can be pretty chunky pieces, you know, no more than 1 inch wide, but because everything else is chunky, they can be chunky. And we're going to put them in here until I have approximately 2 cups. When you're cooking, this kind of cooking, the measurements, accuracy of the measurements don't count very much. and I'll show you another thing that the accuracy is not going to be exactly there. But when you're baking, it's very important that you do be accurate about that, because baking has more to do with chemistry, different things reacting to get the rise or whatever of your baked good, and so it's important that you measure accurately. I have a little bit of celery here. I just wanted to show you that's got some of the green on it. As long as I pick off the pieces that might be kind of brown, or cut off the ends where it might be a little bit brown, I can chop that green up into a soup like this, or a casserole, or a meatloaf, or any kind of thing that you might be putting celery in. Definitely stuffing at Thanksgiving time. Again, cut these kind of big because the recipe is going to be a chunky recipe, and this stuff can just go, I'm just going to put it right in my pot. It can go right into the recipe, no problem at all for that. So there's all my celery. I know it says first on the recipe, but I'm doing this last just because I wanted to put the meat on my cutting board finally. This is pulse kibasi. Sometimes you'll see a thing and it'll just be called sausage, like the recipe here, a hearty sausage stew. It says you can use sausage or kibasi. This is a measurement of 14 ounces. Now a pound would be 16 ounces, but they didn't have it in a pound package. So what I did was I bought 2 pounds or 2 packages of it. So that's 28 ounces. That's going to be a little bit short of 2 pounds. Not a big deal. Once again, we're making something that's not a baked item. It's not a big deal if it's not exactly the measurement or not exactly what it says to do on that. And so I'm cutting these up in about 1-inch pieces, it says, and putting it into the pot. I already have 1 package in there, so this is my second package. I'm going to stir this up a little bit before I put it into my Crock-Pot over here. I'm going to turn it onto a high heat, and I'm going to let it cook for 2 hours with the lid on, and then we'll come back and we'll check it. See you in a few minutes. Hi, our 2 hours is up, a little bit more than 2 hours, and we've got our nice mixture here, all nice and hot in our Crock-Pot. It's really, really pretty, very, very colorful. You can see what it looks like here with the red peppers and the yellow peppers and the little bit of celery that's in it. It's very nice, and it's got about a half a pot of juice here. Some of that is the juice from the tomatoes, and some of that's probably juice that's come from the meat as well, because we didn't put any additional liquid in this at all, but it has quite a bit. So let me take a little bite here and tell you what I think about it. Pretty good. Notice we didn't put any seasoning in this. No salt, no pepper, no other kind of seasoning, because the kibasi itself has a lot of seasoning in it, and those cans of tomatoes have seasoning in them as well. Here's a piece of the meat. Very good. Again, if you don't like kibasi, you can always switch it out for smoked sausage or another kind of meat. But that'd be real good. If you want to make some rice and serve it over top of rice with that liquid, it'd be good. Or over top of some mashed potatoes, that would be good as well. So I hope you like the recipe. Hope you give it a try. It's not difficult at all. And thanks for watching.